Hi, thank you for watching my channel today. My name is Sarah and my channel is called Your True Self. And today I am filming a library haul, which is my last library haul for a long time because our library shut yesterday for infection control reasons, and they upped the borrowing limit to 45 per card, and we've got 3 cards in our house. We didn't borrow 120 books, don't worry. So when we got to the library, the shelves were like half bare, which is like there was like 2 children's books left and half the adult shelves were gone. So I just had a look and chose some stuff. You're allowed to keep it till July and there's no late fees, which kind of takes the pressure off completely. The only annoying thing is, like, obviously I won't get my books I'd reserved off the women's prize list now, so I might just wait and see what's on the short list, but I have put some on my Audible wish list. Anyway, so there's 2 books here that I got on a previous library haul, but I don't think that I talked about them yet, so I've included them in this one. So, and I just want to say as well, I'm so gutted about the library because we go there all the time. Like, we can walk there from my house, and it's got really good opening hours, and me and the kids go all the time, and we get so many children's books from there, and we just like going there for an hour or so, probably at least once a week, and I'm really, really sad we can't go for a while, but I understand why, but really sad. But on the upside, I will read more of my backlist. Anyway, right, so let's crack on. So the first book that I picked up was this one, The Shepherd's Life by James Rebanks. So this is on my Audible wish list, so it was nice to see this in the library. This is a non-fiction book about James's life as a shepherd in the Lake District, and it's the same bit of land that his family's farmed for about 600 years, I think. I listened to the sample on Audible and I really enjoyed it, and the sample, or the bit I heard, was about how they were having a talk in assembly at school about shepherds, and the teacher was basically saying, like, well, the last thing you want to do is end up one of those. She better get a good education so she can get out of here. And he was really offended as a kid because his whole family were shepherds and that's what he wanted to do. So yeah, I really love nature writing, so I'm sure this will have lots of good nature writing in. And that's the first one. The second one, I didn't actually know anything about it when I picked it up, but the author jumped out at me because I have read one of her books before and I absolutely loved it. So this one is the second book of hers I'm going to read. So this is Bellwether by Susanna Kearsley. This is a historical novel, and it is set, I don't know actually when it's set, but basically it says it's about a forbidden love between a French-Canadian lieutenant and the daughter of the house where he is an unwelcome guest. And it says, local legend has it that their story ended tragically, but centuries later the clues they left behind slowly unveil another fate entirely. So yeah, there's a little quote on there saying, the house seemed intent on guarding what it knew, but we all learned by the end of it that secrets aren't such easy things to keep. And I love the cover. Sorry if you can hear a lot of background noise, by the way. My little boy's looking for me and he's probably going to burst in a minute. The next one is another one that I got because of the author who I like. I've read several of her books, and that is a Dorothy Koomson book called When I Was Invisible. This book is about 2 friends. Hi, Buster.
Hi, Mum.
Hi.
Please, Miss.
Can I just let me finish this and I'll play with you, okay? So, this one is about 2 best friends who are both love ballet, and it's set in the late 80s, and it says they meet for the first time then. They seem destined to be best friends and professional dancers. Years later, when they've both been dealt so many cruel blows that they walk away from each other into very different futures. One enters a convent, the other becomes a minor celebrity. Will these new invisible lives be the ones they were meant to live, or will they only find that kind of salvation when they are reunited 20 years later? So yeah, the blurb doesn't draw me in massively, but I just really like Dorothy Koomson books, so I'm sure I'll like it. Right, next one. Oh, this appears to be my next one. The next one is Crudo by Olivia Laing. I've renewed this a few times already, so I may have mentioned it on a haul ages ago. But this is like a novella, which all I know about it is it's set in 2017 and it's very topical about what was going on then. And although I remember Simon Savage talking about it a lot and saying it's like somebody opening the top of your head, pouring in a load of ideas and then shutting it again. Sorry about the camera wobbles. So yeah, give it a go. So yeah, it sounds very topical. Yeah, so that's that one. Oh, next one. Next one's being passed up. Next one is a book which I've heard about, but I'm not sure that I've actually seen anyone review it. That is Asymmetry by Lisa Halliday. So this is a book, I think, with two separate stories, which I'm not, which intertwine a little. This is. Careful, Kai. This is between Alice, who's an editor in New York, and she has an affair with a much older writer, and then another man called Amar, who is an economist en route to Kurdistan and is detained by immigration and locked in a holding room. And then some years later, the writer reappears on Desert Island Discs to reflect on his life. And so I think those two stories are both in here and they somehow link in together in some way. Right, next one is one I have read before, but I've listened to it on Audible and I wanted to read it so that I can then carry on with the series. And that is I Know Where the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou. So Maya reads the audiobook herself, and so it's really nice to hear it in her voice, so I know I'll hear her voice in my head when I read this. It's not very long, and as a person, I respect her so much. I've learnt so much from her. Every time I hear her speak, I learn something new, and I love her poetry. And so I am really, looking forward to giving that a reread. And then I've got two more. Which one are we doing next, Buster? This one. So the next one, I made a bit of a cock up because there was a series that I wanted to get into for ages, and I thought, what better time to get it from the library than when there's no problems with renewing and no late fees. And so I picked it up, and then I realised when I got home that it's not the right series. So I really wanted to read Outlander, and then I obviously got confused in the library because I actually picked up a completely different series with one name, Poldark. So Poldark I don't think is much like Outlander, but I'm going to give it a try, because if I know the TV series was really popular, so I'll give it a try. I have no idea what it's about. So it says it's set in Cornwall between 1783 and 1787. It says, tired from a grim war in America, Ross Poldark returns to his land and his family. But the joyful homecoming he had anticipated turns sour. For his father is dead, his estate derelict, and the girl he loves is engaged to his cousin. However, his sympathy for the destitute miners and farmers of the district lead him to rescue a half-starved urchin girl from a fairground brawl and take her home, an act which alters the course of his whole life. That sounds really good, actually. I'm happy to give it a go. I don't know how many books there are in the series. Oh god, there's millions. There's about 700. So let's see if I like it. And then the final one, which I got, is another non-fiction nature writing book. And that is called Linescapes by Hugh, Warwick. So this is about the boundaries that we put on our land and what effect that has on on life and the different ecosystems. So whether it's sorry, I can't hold up. So hedges, walls, ditches, dikes built to enclose and separate, and the green lanes, roads, canals, railways and power cables designed to connect. The vast network of lines has transformed our landscape. It unravels the far-reaching ecological consequence of the lines we have drawn as our lives and our land were being fenced in and threaded together, so wildlife habitats have been cut into ever smaller and increasingly unvariable fragments. So that sounds really good as well. So that's my last library haul, and I've been really good, and I haven't bought any books. Well, actually, that's not true. I haven't bought... I bought 4 books of the day in the sale from the book people, which were ridiculously cheap. They haven't arrived yet, so I don't count that. So I haven't bought any books this month at all, apart from those 4. So I'm really proud of myself for that. Anyhow, I'm going to go now because I've had to put my little boy in his cot to keep him out of the video, and he's crying, so I'm going to go and get him. I hope you're having a lovely weekend. I hope you're not thinking too much about what's going on in the world in a negative way, and I hope you have a lovely week, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye!